Welcome to SUSD Spotlight, your go-to source for all things happening within the district. Whether it's celebrating student and staff achievements, delving into trending education topics, or highlighting inspiring human interest stories, we've got you covered. Join us as we illuminate the incredible endeavors taking place in our schools and forge connections within our community. Get ready to be informed, inspired, and engaged as we embark on this journey together, spotlighting the extraordinary in SUSD. Welcome to another edition of SUSD Spotlight. Today we are excited to welcome in studio Josh Friedman and our new SRO for Desert Canyon Elementary and Middle School, Devinn. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
We are going to have a riveting conversation today, not only about school safety, but more significantly, the new e-bike law. But before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about your background, Devinn, and what made you want to become a school resource officer?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been with the department now for just over 7 years. So a little bit of time under my belt working first several years patrol down in our downtown district. So lots of drunk people on the weekends kind of thing. But now the last 3 years or so, I've been up in our Foothills district area working actually the working patrol where Desert Canyon is. So it's an area I'm familiar with. It's an area I really like. I enjoy being there. And so when the opportunity came up to start looking into SRO positions, it was something that has interested me my entire career. My wife is a fifth grade teacher at another school district. I won't say what. But because of that, we do have that background there. I understand the challenges she has in school. So while I'm not a teacher myself, I do understand the difficulties of, being a teacher and working with admin and all of those responsibilities and things that come with all of that. And obviously having an impact on the kids, which is the biggest one. So it's a cool opportunity where you don't get to meet people on their worst day ever, or they're upset with you because you're giving them a ticket. Every day I get to greet the kids with a smile and say, welcome to school. And it's really cool to have that impact.
Well, that's exactly the kind of school resource officer we want on our campus, so that's exciting. Mr. Friedman, we've had you on as a guest before, but can you remind our listeners your background in school safety and what you do here at Scottsdale Unified?
Yes, my name is Josh Friedman, and I'm the Director of Safety and Security here at Scottsdale Unified School District. I've held this position, this is my fourth year. Prior to that, I worked for the town of Gilbert as their emergency manager. And before that, I was a law enforcement officer and a firefighter for both Maricopa County and the town of Gilbert. And my job in the school district is to keep everybody that visits our campus, whether it's a student, a parent, a visitor, a grandparent, anybody who's on our campuses, safe and secure.
Thank you for that. So over the summer, a new law went into effect here in Scottsdale with respect to e-bikes. So maybe we can talk a little bit about what we're seeing with respect to use of e-bikes, what the expectation is in terms of this new ordinance that was passed by the Scottsdale City Council and how that impacts students on our campus.
So the district has always seen e-bikes and all kinds of machinery that have wheels and motors to get to schools, motorized skateboards, all kinds of things. And the district's policy hasn't changed. Our policy has been in effect for many years, and that is that you can use it according to the laws of the city getting to school, but once you hit our property, you cannot ride it or use the motor. So they can walk it from the sidewalk of the edge of our property to the rack to lock up whatever that device may be it a bike or anything else. Fortunately, we have pretty good compliance with not using them on school grounds. Unfortunately, we have seen a lot of students that have gotten hurt on the way to school or leaving school because they are using different versions of e-bikes or motorized scooters or whatever and they children don't necessarily follow the rules, not just the law of can I use it or not, but the traffic laws. So they're weaving in and out of cars, doing wheelies, things like that. And unfortunately, we've seen several of our students get injured on the way to or from school.
And so what is the new law as it relates to children? Because we are talking about children like under the age of 16 or under the age of 18 as it relates to e-bikes.
So the biggest thing with e-bikes is there's 3 classifications of them that are statewide definitions: Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. Class 1 and Class 2 specifically, those are the ones that are limited to 20 miles an hour, whether pedal assisted or just throttle operation only. Anything that goes beyond that then falls into the Class 3 up to 28 miles an hour. Anything beyond that is technically either a motorcycle or a motor-driven cycle. So the new law that went into effect was specifically kind of targeting that Class 3. And what it does is it says that in order to operate a Class 3, you have to be 16.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean you have a driver's license or, a driver's license, registration, insurance, any of that stuff. But you have to at least be 16 years old and have at least some wherewithal of how to operate a vehicle on a roadway. Under that, if you're under 16, you can still operate Class 1, Class 2 e-bikes, to and from school. Again, not riding them on campus and staying within the city law there for Scottsdale. Obviously, if you're a student or live outside of Scottsdale, that doesn't apply to you, and you need to be aware of what that is for your jurisdiction.
Is there a helmet law associated with these? Because I'm one of those motorists and a mom who's been terrified when I see these kids flying through an intersection, and it does feel like they're going as fast as some of our regular vehicles on the roadway.
Yeah. So with the anything that exceeds the bicycles, yes, you gotta wear a helmet.
So the Class 3, you have to wear a helmet.
I'm not exactly sure with that one. I would need to look into that a little bit more. I'm not sure.
We would advise people to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would, as far as from a legal standpoint, I'm not sure exactly what that specific is as far as juveniles or at what age they don't have to wear a helmet, or if the city of Scottsdale has a specific law towards that. Like I said, our biggest issue is the speed at which these go. Understand that even at 20 miles an hour, a kid losing control of a e-bike and unfortunately hitting a curb at best, or even sliding across the pavement is not pretty and can lead to some pretty serious injuries. So always advocating for wearing a helmet and being safe.
Are they allowed on sidewalks, or are they supposed to be like in bike lanes or with the flow of traffic? I'm just curious the difference between the two.
Yeah, class 1 and Class 2, they can be operated on sidewalks, multi-use paths, that kind of thing. Class 3 is limited to being used in the bicycle lane. All of that information, I know it gets really detailed and really specific. City of Scottsdale, on our website, we have all of them outlined, and we do have specifics there. Also in front of you, we also have these handy dandy little pamphlets that outline the specific new law with some of the details as well. So if you have specific questions about those, you can always look for those at the front office of your school should have them.
What's been the reaction?
Very supportive for the most part. We're finding we're not getting a whole lot of pushback on it. The challenges we're getting is just the lack of education from both the students and the parents. When you are able to have a conversation with them and educate them as to really it's a safety thing. That's what it is. I mean, I understand, kids got to have a way to get to and from school. I get that. We want kids off the tablets, off the computers, and away from the screens, and go out and have fun and be outside, enjoy the weather, and so we're advocating for that, and we don't want to take that fun away from them, but at the same time, we got to do it in a safe and responsible way. So when we have that conversation with parents, it is generally well received.
Does SPD offer any classes in terms of e-bike usage or safety, or do we have other areas where we can refer people to have that opportunity?
I'm not sure. As far as SPD ourselves, like I said, we have the resources out there that kind of outline the specifics for what is a Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. That's on our website. If you just go to the scottsdaleaz.gov, the search police, and then, of course, in the search bar there, search e-bikes, it pulls up the screen and shows you the difference between what's an electric mobility scooter and that kind of thing. So we do have those resources available in that way.
So what happens if a 15-year-old is riding a Class 3 scooter to school?
Well, an e-bike.
Yeah, e-bike.
If it's a Class 3 e-bike and you are under the age of 16, there is a civil penalty assigned to that. Civil ticket, just like a speeding ticket for going 10 miles an hour over. Fines of those obviously can vary and be different, and that's something that the city controls.
And that is on the student's record, not the parent's record?
Yes.
And what if it's a repeat offender?
So one of the things, like I said, we try to be really diligent about is education towards the students and towards the families, and we do a very good job of documenting those educational efforts. When we find repeat offenders, and we've had those conversations with parents and they have been documented, there's unfortunately some liability and even some criminal aspects of those that do can start potentially coming into play. Understand we don't want to do that,
Right.
but there are certain things that can happen, such as, being cited for criminal charges like contributing to the delinquency of a minor, or child endangerment, even depending on the extremities of it. So
people should take this ordinance seriously.
absolutely.
So Josh, I'm wondering, have you seen an increase of e-bikes on our campuses, and are there any particular campuses where we see a lot more than in other places?
We haven't seen really an increase like this year over last year. I think last year was the biggest increase that we saw year over year, and I think it was just because of all of they kind of came out more in the manufacturing and what they look like, which is why one of the reasons why that the city did this ordinance is because they were more prevalent. But so we haven't necessarily seen an increase, and I would say some of our northern schools are probably our most difficult because of the distance that a lot of the kids are riding to school, or the ability to ride home after school, or things like that. So kids are truly using it as transportation when the parents are working. And so while there's really no difference north to south in the city, I would say that right now we're seeing a majority of them at our northern schools.
Okay, thank you.
And what's your safety message? Because I know you and I have talked about it. And when we see the kids popping wheelies, it's a little frightening. I know you got to get to school, but we want you to get to school safely.
Yeah, our biggest thing is, we have an amazing bus system. We have a transportation department that works really hard. We have students that walk safely to school every day. We have, with Ubers and Waymos and everything else, with the cost of these e-bikes, there are other options available to parents who can't, for whatever reason, get their child to school. And if your child does need to use an e-bike to get to school, we're not opposed to that, but sit down with them and talk to them about what the rules are, what the laws are, because, medical bills add up a lot quicker than a lot of these other things. So getting to school safety is the most important thing.
Well, we agree. We think student safety is extremely important. Appreciate your focus and attention on this. At the end of every podcast, I like to ask my guests about a teacher who might have been an inspiration to you or made a difference in your life and kind of help guide you on the path you're on now to the career you're in. And we like to ask each guest to share the name of that person so that we can celebrate them. Devin, you have someone in mind?
I do. My mind immediately goes to my high school English teacher named Lori Elvram from my home school district back up in Washington.
Okay.
Was very instrumental in me. Ironically, I was not a good kid. I was not a good student growing up, and I'm now a police officer. But really just kind of took the opportunity to learn more about me, focus on me, the person, rather than me, the behavior. Mm-hmm. And learn more about that. And it really kind of changed my way of thinking. And it was really instrumental in that time of my life, just in getting me set on the right path and more successful.
Well, she did a good job, and I appreciate you telling that story. It's fantastic. Mr. Friedman.
I think you asked me this last time, and I don't remember who I stated last time.
But where did you graduate?
I graduated from Saguaro High School. Right.
All right,
here.
just saying,
Yeah,
so
no,
maybe
that
think
was-
of one of
that's
those.
Official, but no, I would say that in my time at Saguaro High School, probably the most influential person was not a teacher, but was the assistant principal, Brenda Court. And I spent hours in her office for good and bad reasons. Devin here was not the best student, but found a way to make it through and graduate, and was a police officer and now retired. So coming back to the district and running into her family, who was still part of the district, and has been an interesting experience for me.
I always appreciate hearing the stories about people who've made a difference in the lives of others, and it's a way to pay it forward. And what I know to be true is that, Devin, you're going to be doing the same for the students on the campuses where you're serving. We appreciate your service. Thank you, Mr. Friedman, for always making sure that we're keeping safety at the forefront. Thank you all for tuning in to our SUSD Spotlight.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and will pitch us ideas for future episodes. And you can do so on our website, susd.org/spotlight.